IGFA, world record, 87 pounds of gold and green mussel. Caught off Costa Rica, 1976. To the world, a trophy. To you, a legend you once swam beside. He was the largest bull mahi ever seen here. A living streak of sunlight under the waves. Your father. His blunt head cut the current like a blade. Every leap painted rainbows in the air. Until that day when the shadow of a boat swallowed him whole. The line went taut, each desperate arc of his struggle slashing the surface. On his final leap, his body still blazed with gold and electric blue. But in the triumphant hands of man, the colors bled away in seconds, as if someone had drained the sunlight from him. Gold dulled to mustard, blue faded to ash, until nothing remained but a lifeless shape with no shine at all. Mahi-Mahi roam nearly every warm ocean on Earth, from the Caribbean to the Pacific, from the Indian Ocean to the edges of the Mediterranean. They ride the highways of the tropics and subtropics, following currents rich with life. But to begin, you chose a smaller world. A drifting island of sargassum weed, nursery, and shield in one. Its dense tangles hide you from the open blue and carry you slowly across the ocean on the wind and current. You hatched in the lee of this floating mass, brown tendrils tangled with tiny shells, shrimp, and baby crabs. Plankton swarmed here. Where plankton gathered, baitfish came in shimmering clouds. You were one of thousands. For weeks, nothing dangerous crossed the weed line. You learned to dart between tendrils, to vanish in a heartbeat at the flash of a shadow. One afternoon, the shadow of a boat hovered above. A silver streamer danced just beneath the weed. Your brother lunged forward, then, in a burst of white water, was slowly hauled toward the boat. A dark figure leaned over the gunwale. Gloved hands worked without pause, grabbing, lifting, tossing. A shower of chum rained down, and you and your family surged toward it, only to vanish one by one into the froth. That human caught you, the smallest of them all, and held you up for a look. Fortunately, he wasn't a rookie. He tossed you back overboard the moment he saw you were still juvenile. But your family never returned. That night, the sargassum didn't feel like a fortress anymore. You grew. Faster than almost any fish in the sea, an inch a week when food was thick. As an adult, you could gain over 20 pounds in a single year. Scales deepened from glass clear to molten gold. Electric blue sparked along your dorsal edge. You hunted squid and crustaceans, and at times took a few smaller Dorado that strayed too close. Flying fish became your favorite. One heartbeat, they skimmed the surface. The next, you burst through the same air, jaws closing around them mid-flight. In those sprints, you could top 50 miles per hour. Logs, buoys, drifting debris, all became your hunting blinds. Shade for the hunter, trap for the hunted. Then came the storms. The current shifted, pulling you south toward deeper, colder water. For days, you swam with the current, past volcanic seamounts that rose like dark towers, through valleys where light faded and strange eyes watched from the gloom. The current carried you into waters that shifted beneath your fins. One day, the heat of the tropics pressed down from above. The next, you crossed an invisible wall where the temperature dropped in an instant, the thermocline. Above it, flashes of mackerel and half-beaks. Below, the silver glint of squid rising at night to feed. Here, the currents ran faster. Each turn brought new hunting grounds, reefs where baitfish packed in so tight you could feed until you were heavy, then deep blue corridors where the water was empty for days. That year, the ocean was generous. Your body thickened, your colors burned brighter. At 4 feet long, you carried the blunt, steep forehead of a bull mahi. Colors blazed electric, blue along the back, green in the flanks, gold bleeding into white belly. When you hit the sun just right, your body flashed like a flare under the waves. Fishermen whispered about a giant mahi under the weed lines, one that could rival the 1976 record. Some said its flesh is wonderfully versatile, perfect for frying, blackened with pepper, or tucked into a fresh fish taco. Some swore they saw you once, a golden streak vaulting clean over a bait spread before vanishing like smoke. Time was already running out. A mahi's life is short, 4 years is old, and most never see their 5th summer. So you lived at full speed, because you had no choice. Mahi-Mahi mature early and reproduce prolifically, capable of spawning as young as 4 to 5 months old. Each warm season, you chase flecks of light again and again, releasing milt beside billowing clouds of eggs, letting thousands of eggs into the drift, each one vanishing into the same ocean lottery you'd survived. The rest of your days were spent in a single rhythm: hunt, feed, grow, hunt again. Hesitation meant hunger. Hunger meant weakness. And weakness, in these waters, meant death. It happened at dawn. A perfect imitation of a flying fish skipped across the wake of a boat. You tracked it, accelerating until the world blurred. The strike rattled your skull. Still bit deep. Line hissed into the sky. You leapt, 10 feet clear of the water, twisting, tail slapping, spray exploding. But the boat turned, closing the gap, pulling you toward its shadow. Every run left you weaker. Then, a sharp crack. The main line snapped back toward the boat. You felt nothing but water under you again. Free! Hook still in your jaw, but free. You sank into the blue, vanishing into a drifting wall of weed. Weeks later, while hunting under a floating log, you spotted bubbles rising from below. A human figure wrapped in strange gear emerged, a long spear gun aimed at your head, but the spear shot past your flank, burying into the log behind you. While he struggled to free the menacing weapon, you slipped quickly past him and escaped. The diver rose slowly, watching you disappear into open water. Seasons turned. You slowed. Colors faded. Some say you died of age. Bones scattered on the seafloor. Others swear a golden streak still haunts the weed lines, vanishing before a lure can touch the water. The 1976 record still stands. But in the stories told at night, there's always another name. The Mahi that broke free